Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. Now, to start things off, we're going to keep looking at a story that we've been kind of keeping our thumb on for a while now. So as the war in Iran continues, gas prices are steadily climbing. Now, many gas stations across Evansville are over $4 a gallon for regular unleaded, and diesel prices are over $5 a gallon. Local business owners are also feeling the impact. We checked in with one Evansville business, Spanky's Una Pizza, and the owner, Ryan Huck, says gas prices impact several parts of the businesses, including delivery drivers filling up their tank and ingredient costs.
Yeah, he says meat and dairy prices are directly related to diesel, and the cost of gas to fill up those big refrigerated trucks has significantly increased. So he says that price is being passed on to the small businesses. Now, there are still some gas stations with prices under $4 a gallon in Evansville, but mostly the ones that we have seen today are around $4.19 a gallon. So our Leslie Chapman has been speaking with these local business owners. She's been kind of surveying all of the different gas stations around the area to figure out what's the cheapest, what's the highest. She's going to have all of that tonight on 14 News.
Well, this is kind of shaping up into the day of continuing coverage.
Yeah.
Our second headline today, happening tonight, the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission is hosting a public hearing to discuss utility bills. Now, customers will be able to hear directly from IURC officials and share their thoughts on how high utility rates have impacted them and their families.
Yeah, so that's happening tonight at the Old National Events Plaza from 6 to 8 p.m. Our Gabe Pontonis is going to be there. If you can't make it, he'll give you a look into what that looks like, because there's going to be several of these listening sessions. But this is your opportunity to come and talk to people who can actually make a difference here about the struggles you're going through with your utility bills. So, important event tonight in Evansville.
Now, to round things out today, this final headline, something very springy, very of the time of
Absolutely.
year. New trees are now growing on Wabash Avenue Flags on Evansville's west side. Parks officials say 43 invasive calorie pear trees were removed. Now, it was thanks to a grant from the Evansville Forest Alliance. 29 native shade trees have now been planted.
Yeah, they include oak and cypress, which are more durable and have environmental benefits. Next spring, about 50 smaller native flowering trees will be added in that area as well. Officials say dozens of volunteers have taken part in this project. They were out working hard today. You know, when they tore the trees down, it was weird. It looked so empty here on the west side. So, yeah. And so until these trees can, really get to life and get full size, it'll look a lot better. But it looks funny without the trees there now.
It's amazing how you get used to those things.
Yeah.
You don't really see them, but then when they're gone,
it's like, oh, this is weird. Yeah. So I'm glad they're coming back.
Well, that's going to round up the news portion of our streaming show here today. But of course, we've got a lot going on across the tri-state, so be sure to circle back for 14 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10.
All right, do not go anywhere. Meteorologist Arden Gregory will have a look at your 14 First Alert forecast right after the break.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Good afternoon, I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory, and this is a live look at the Owensboro riverfront. Now, we started out pretty gray and gloomy this morning, but now we have clear blue skies overhead. Notice the flags here. We do have a pretty good breeze coming in from the northeast today, helping to keep our temperatures on the cooler side. So after starting out mostly cloudy this morning, it is now becoming sunny this afternoon. It's still going to be the coolest day of the week, though. this little chill that we're dealing with today, it's not going to last long. Still pretty cold tonight. Then we start to warm up, and we're going to be in the 70s starting tomorrow and continuing through the rest of this week. We do have a few showers possible to end the week, though. We'll talk more about that in just a second. This morning, as I said, it was cloudy, and we even had a few very brief sprinkles stretching from about Evansville to the northwest primarily. Just a few blips of green on the radar there, just a brief sprinkle mainly in Illinois. For most of us, it was just very cloudy this morning, but those clouds then started to clear around middle of the day, and this afternoon so far has been very sunny. We have clear blue skies across the board now, and it should stay sunny through the rest of the day as well. Temperatures still on the cooler side, though. We started the day in the 30s in many locations. Now we're starting to climb into the 50s. We were in the 30s and 40s this morning, and we haven't climbed a whole lot through the course of the day. Low to mid 50s for many of us, upper 50s to low 60s as you get into western Kentucky, though. Madisonville, the warmest spot at 60 degrees even. It's 56 right now in Owensboro, 55 in Evansville and Newburgh. We do have that cool breeze coming in from the northeast, but I do want to point out that through tonight into tomorrow, that wind is going to slowly shift around, and by this time tomorrow, our winds will probably be coming from the south, and that's important because wind direction drives our temperatures. So when that wind shifts around from the south, it's going to pull warmer air from the south up into the tri-state, and that's where we see that return to the 70s. For today, though, we still have that chilly breeze from the northeast. Despite that, now that it is mostly sunny this afternoon, I still think we'll tack on another degree or two. It's 55 in Evansville right now. We'll probably get up to 56 or 57 here within the next hour or two. Then those temperatures will start to fall back through the 50s and then the 40s, eventually bottoming out in the mid to upper 30s by the end of the night tonight. So tonight will be mostly clear but chilly. We are going to dip into those mid to upper 30s. So late tonight into early tomorrow morning, there will be a chill in the air. It'll be a little cold out there. You will want a jacket, but then by tomorrow afternoon, you can probably ditch the jacket because our winds are going to shift from the northeast to the east to the south, and then eventually warmer air starts flowing into the tri-state by tomorrow afternoon. That southerly breeze plus mostly sunny skies going to push us into the low 70s Wednesday afternoon, and then it gets warmer from there. We're looking at highs in the mid to upper 70s Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Keep in mind our normal highs this time of year are in the mid to upper 60s. So we will be running about 10 degrees warmer than average through the end of this week. Then it gets even warmer with highs in the low to mid 80s to start next week. Now, I mentioned before we do have a very isolated chance of some showers. I think we'll stay dry through the rest of today, tomorrow, Thursday, and most of Friday. So most of this week really looking pretty dry. Then we've got this frontal system off to the north that starts to dip south toward the tri-state, pushing some rain our way Friday evening. So again, most of the day on Friday, dry. Friday night, though, we have this rain pushing in from the north. Very light, very scattered showers. Some of you may not even see rain at all, but just some very light scattered rain then overnight Friday night, lingering into early Saturday morning. So late Friday into early Saturday, we've got just light scattered rain showers. This is going to be very low impact. A lot of the rain, what we'll even see of it, will fall in the middle of the night when most folks aren't out, so it shouldn't really impact you. But even if you do get some rain Friday night or Saturday morning, it's going to be very light, very scattered. Through the day on Saturday, that starts to pivot and then lift back to the north then on Sunday. And as that lifts to the north, notice those wind arrows really kicking in from the south there. That's where we see that push in our temperatures, with highs then climbing into the 80s as we start next week. We do have another low pressure system with a cold front associated with it heading our way sometime middle of next week. Models are still a little inconsistent on the timing. We could maybe catch a shower on Monday, but it seems like we have a better chance Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Some of the models have the rain on Tuesday, others hold off until Wednesday, but sometime Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, it looks like we'll probably have a cold front approaching the tri-state and kick up some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. It may get a little breezy, but right now I think our chances of severe weather are going to be pretty low, but we'll obviously have to just wait and see how that plays out, as that is still a full week away. Quick check in on the comments here. Good afternoon, Laura, Jeanette, Jeff. Nice to see you all tuning in today. We always appreciate your comments. For those of you who need to get out and mow your grass, this dry weather is good news. It is a little cool out there today, but other than that, great weather. We do have that chance of rain on Friday, but it's so late in the day that I still think if you wanted to mow, you could really do it any day this week that you wanted to. But keep in mind that the pollen count is very high. So if you're someone who has seasonal allergies, you're allergic to things like grass, definitely want to be doing some kind of over-the-counter allergy medicine or something to help you out because the pollen count is very high. It is spring. This should not come as a shock to anyone that the pollen count is high, but sometimes if you get a little rain, it'll help kind of clear the air a little bit, wet things down, wash the pollen off of the tops of cars and things like that. And that helps with the pollen count. But when you have dry, kind of breezy conditions, that pollen just wafts through the air and spreads everywhere. And so with dry conditions on the way here, our pollen count will remain very high through this entire week. Now, I mentioned before our temperatures. We started out very warm. We're a week into April now. Today's the 7th, so we've made it one whole week. The start of April was very warm with highs in the 80s. Then we had that cold front move through Saturday. That cooled us down. It also brought us our only measurable rainfall so far this month. It was just kind of rainy and breezy, just kind of drippy and dreary throughout the day. On Saturday, we picked up 0.43 inches of rain at the Evansville Regional Airport on Saturday. That is our only rain so far this month. And, April showers bring May flowers. April rain is something we're kind of known for, right? So we are running a deficit on rainfall so far this month because that is the only rain we've had. And we're also running short on rain for the year. We had a stretch of kind of wet weather for just a week or so in January and then again in early March. But outside of that, it's really been a pretty dry year so far. February was one of our driest on records. The last couple weeks of March were really pretty dry. And so far, we've had a relatively dry first week of April, but also a very warm one. Our average temperature running more than 10 degrees above the normal so far for this month of April. Because out of the 7 first days of April here, 3 of them had highs in the 80s at a time when we would typically be in the 60s. So we are going to pull that average back a little bit today with our highs only reaching the 50s. But then moving forward, our temperatures trend back above average through the rest of this week and into the start of next week. Now, for those of you curious about the extended outlook, looking now at the trend from Wednesday, April 15th, tax day, through the end of next week. So second half of next week now, the trend still shows above average temperatures and near average precipitation. So it looks like we've got that rain that I mentioned possible Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. But then beyond that, it seems most of the rain will be off to our west and we may have some drier weather settling in once again. So here's another look at that 7-day forecast. Again, today will be the coolest day of the week. That warmer weather starts kicking back in tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow morning will still be cold. We're looking at lows in the mid to upper 30s, but by tomorrow afternoon we warm into the 70s. Tomorrow is going to be one of those days where whatever jacket you pick, it's going to be wrong. You're either going to be cold in the morning or you're going to be hot in the afternoon. There's just no alternative tomorrow. But then we warm into the 70s with lows in the 50s for the end of the week. We do have that slight chance of just a few scattered showers from Friday evening through early Saturday morning. Most of that rain will fall overnight. Then dry, very warm on Sunday, highs in the low to mid 80s. Then we've got some clouds starting to build in, maybe an isolated chance of rain as we get into early next week. Looks like if we're going to see any thunderstorms, it'll probably be Tuesday or maybe Wednesday of next week. But again, that's a full week away, so there's still a lot of very fuzzy details when it comes to that. I'm not seeing any questions in the comments today, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lyons will have an updated look at your forecast on 14 News tonight at 4, 5, 6, and 10, and he'll do another streaming show here tonight at 9. So if you do have any questions, he can answer those for you then. All right, everybody have a great rest of your day.